Hi everybody, here's the question for you. Can you go fishing on the coldest, wettest, windiest, rainiest, nastiest day of the year and still catch fish? We're going to attempt to answer that question today at a lake that I've never seen before in my life. This ought to be interesting and challenging at the same time. I'm glad you're along with us. Let's Fish TV is on the air right now. That is a fish. Oh man, look at this.
It's time for the only program that brings you real-time fishing reports from the Southeast region every week.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. Woo!
This is Let's Fish.
Hi everybody and welcome into this week's show. We're coming to you this week from western Arkansas. Last year about this time, we visited the first in a chain of 4 lakes in the western part of the state that are all loaded with bass and catfish and white bass and crappie. It was called Dirk's Lake and we caught some giant crappie out of that lake. This year and this week, we're visiting the second in this chain of lakes. It's called Gillom Lake. I'll show it to you in just a second, but to go out there this week, we're taking the Low Stinger 198. It's an aluminum boat, fully rigged with my Mercury Pro XS 4-stroke outboard engine, and that is where we're going fishing. It's called Gillom Lake. It's spread out up in the mountains. It's got lots of fishing cover, lots of arms and ditches and ravines coming in, fed by a river. We'll talk about all that a little bit later. I don't know what we'll catch today. We're going to fish for maybe bass and crappie, white bass. We'll see what bites. As you can see, I'm not wearing my normal fishing gear. It is a very cold, windy, and rainy day today, but we're going to take one for the team and get out there anyway and see what we can catch. While we're doing that, we're taking you around your local region for this week's fishing reports from our expert team of insider reporters from lakes, rivers, and bays right where you live, both saltwater and freshwater. Right now, we got the boat launched. Next time you see me, I'll be out there fishing for something. Right now, let's get it all started. Back at the studio in your weekend planner.
Thanks so much for joining us for another episode of Let's Fish. These Salooner tables are predicting good game fish activity throughout both days this weekend. Peak game fish activity begins about midday, around 11:46 Saturday and 1:20 on Sunday. Nighttime action will begin at midnight on both Saturday and Sunday. Depending on your area, expect the sun to rise around 6:40 and set around 6:39. Nights will be dark with a new moon this weekend. Also, don't forget to set your clocks forward 1 hour Saturday night for daylight savings time. We'll be right back to check all of the current fishing reports from throughout the area, and I'll return with Bassmaster Elite Angler Gerald Swindle on this week's Ask the Pro feature. Stick with us.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Mercury. Go boldly. Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder. Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama. Get our free fishing guide at orangebeach.com. Motor Guides Tour Pro with GPS anchor. The tour is back. Blazer, high-performance boats for high-performance anglers.
Spotted bass, largemouth. Boy, he is down there some kind of deep too, and he's not wanting to come up. There's one, got him. Right where he was supposed to be. What is it? It could be anything. Could be a white bass, could be a crappie, could be a spotted bass, largemouth. Boy, he is down there some kind of deep too, and he's not wanting to come up. It acts like a white bass. And now into the boat he goes. Still haven't seen him. Where is he? There he is. It's a largemouth. Come here. Got him. All right. There's a good start. Look at there. Hit a little soft plastic bait. That's a Strike King scissor shad. He kind of tore it up a little bit too. Perfect bait for this. Well, Welcome back, everybody. We are on Gillom Lake in Arkansas today. There's a great start right there. Just a good, solid largemouth bass. Real light white color for coming out of the winter time. Let him go back right here. Down there real deep. I was afraid he might have the bends, but no, he swam right back down there. Let me show you this. This is absolutely textbook structure and cover right here for largemouth bass and really any fish when the water temperature is cold. As you can see here, this is almost a sheer rock or granite cliff that just slides straight off in the water, and there is 50 to 70 feet of water almost right in front of my trolling motor here. So it gives those fish, all species, but that bass, a chance to be down there in the warmest water deep, but he can come up on these rocks and feed on some of the balls of bait fish. And I'll show you some of these bait fish. I've driven around out here and seen some schools of shad out here, and they're just roaming out here in this deep water, 50 to 70 feet deep, but the shad are not on bottom. They're suspended up about 20 feet down. So those bass can hang around underneath the shad and swim up underneath them and feed and pin them against that rock structure.
Hey folks, it's time for your Carolinas Report, brought to you by Crazy Sister Marina, the leader in water sports along the Grand Strands. Hey, you want to come down and live like a local? We can take care of all that here, but our captains want to put you on fish in 2021. You need to book your charter with us. Inshore, nearshore, offshore, private charter boats or head boats, we've got it all. Visit crazysistermarina.com for more information on how to book your trip. We're going to stay in saltwater. Speaking of that, and we're going to go to North Carolina. My good buddy, Captain Shane Britt, Rigged and Ready Fishing Center, reports some great trout fishing all winter long, even into this month, and says he expects it to stay that way until March and April. And I tell you what, it's that time to get out and target them. He's having great success right now with voodoo shrimp. He's also throwing some mirror lures and catching a lot of them, but he's concentrated on moving water outside of creek mouths where it gets up shallow. Also moving down to South Carolina. You know, if we get out on our nearshore reefs this time of the year, the sheep's head are stacked up along with some black drum. Fiddler crabs or barnacles fished on a jig head or a Carolina rig fished right on top of the structure definitely will put some fish in the box. This has been your Carolinas Report, brought to you by Crazy Sister Marina. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
Here he comes. I got one coming after my jig. Got him. There he is. Look at this. Good crappie. Big old crappie. Look at this. There's a Gillom special for you. Look at this. We are on my first trip at Lake Gillom in western Arkansas today, and that is a specimen right there now. Look what I've done on a cold, nasty, rainy, overcast kind of a day. What a perfect specimen of a black crappie that is. All right, I'm going to stick that one on a scale real quick. Hang on, time out. I'm going to grab it. We'll see what he weighs. All right, just like that, I've grabbed my Academy H2O Express digital scale, and let's put him on it and see what he weighs. 2 pounds, 0 ounces. Look at that. There's a good solid 2-pound crappie for you there, folks. Man, well, there's our second species of the day. And so what I've done, I'm going to put this fish back. What a great fish. There he goes. Well, as you can see, we've made a switch. I put the bass rod down, and I've picked up a crappie rod, and I'm fishing out off the main river channel. It's the, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, the Cossatot River. We'll give that a try. May be wrong. I'm not from Arkansas, but that's the main river that feeds this lake. And I'm right on the edge of the river channel, and I'm looking at some scattered underwater timber here. And I'm just fishing down, looking on my Lowrance active target. I've got it on my pole here. That's my Fishing Specialties pole. And I can point it any direction I want to, and I'm literally watching schools of bait under the water. And I told you I'd show you this bait, so let me show you a shot of it back there on my Lowrance Elite unit there, and you can see all that bait suspended down below the surface. We're in real deep water, but the bait is not anywhere near the bottom. It's suspended up 15, 20, 25 feet below the surface. And so I'm just looking around these schools of bait and trying to locate these crappie, and I'm literally sight pitching to the ones that I can see. Every once in a while, one will be sitting on the edge of a piece of timber, a pole timber, one single stump sticking straight up, or they'll just be roaming around out here in open water on these open schools. So that's another good way to catch them. Anytime that they're not spawning, it's a good way to catch them, but particularly when it's cold, pre-spawn, they're not thinking about spawning yet, they're just roaming up and down this river channel. It's a great way to catch crappie. Oh yeah, that's a big old crappie. Look at here. That's a big old crappie. Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome back to Lake Gillom in Arkansas. We're out on a cold, nasty day today, and I'm actually seeing a little pod of fish out here. I don't know what they are. I'm just fishing today. Caught some bass early. I'm actually kind of fishing around for some crappie. They've got huge ones in this lake. There's one right there. And I'm just looking around out here in open water. Let's see what that is, if it's a crappie. Got some big white bass in here too. Oh yeah, that's a big old crappie. Look at here. That's a big old crappie. Yeah. There we go. Oh man, look at that big daddy. Look at this, get this glove off. Let me tell you, it is some kind of freezing cold today. We've had a big cold front come through. Look at the belly on that. So they're pre-spawn right now. The crappie are staging. Their egg sacs are ripening up right now, and they're getting ready for the spawn. They're not anywhere close to it yet. The spawn here in Arkansas is probably not going to happen until late April, something like that. Again, the water's colder this year than normal, and it's got to warm up into the 60s before these crappie will spawn. So they're just out here roaming around in deep water. I showed you a little earlier the balls of bait out here. And so rather than structure and cover and timber and stuff like that, I'm actually using the bait as my target. I'm following the schools of bait around and then looking for the individual crappie scattered around the balls of bait. Okay, let's see what this one weighs. 2 pounds and 3 ounces. There you go.
This week's Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama report is brought to you by Bass Mafia. They do tackle storage better than anybody else on earth. Go over to mafiaoutdoors.com, check out all of the things that they make to protect the investment in your tackle, and grab you some cool apparel while you're at it. Let's talk fishing for a minute. Winter's not leaving, spring's not here yet, and we're kind of dealing with a little bit of both. We've had a lot of weather come through, a lot of rain, cold nights, but we're getting some warm days. The fish are thinking about getting shallow. And I'm gonna cheat this week, and I'm gonna do Tennessee and Alabama as one lake and one report, and we're looking at Pickwick. Right now, the big smallmouth are biting. You can get below Wilson Dam and you can catch them. You can get below Pickwick Dam and you can catch them. Make sure your batteries are charged, because you're gonna be standing on your trolling motor full blast in the current. But it's swim baits, like a rage swimmer. It's an A-rig. You can catch them on a big spinner bait. Catch them on a jerk bait. It's a lot of fun. If I'm gonna go to Mississippi, one of the coolest things that happens in the entire nation happens this time of year. It gets started, and that's wader fishing. The Tunica area lakes, Grenada, Sardis, so on and so forth. You know where I'm talking about. Those Tunica lakes get so good right now, and you put on a pair of chest waders, get a long pole, and get you some heavy line, 6 or 8 pound fluoro, maybe 10, and go daub a piece of plastic on a jig head around isolated trees and isolated bushes. You got to be careful, take your time, but you can catch a lot of big crappie doing this, and it is a lot of fun. It is a really unique way to catch them. So that's what's happening here. We'd love to see you down here. God bless you.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Have fun out there. Power Pole, Total Boat Control. Visit Mississippi. Good times are close by. Low Boats, 50 years of boating craftsmanship. Balls Out, made in the USA. Heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders.
Look at that big daddy. That is the white crappie. Bars down the side. Hey everybody, we're still on Gillom Lake in western Arkansas, and while we were away at a commercial break and before we could get the camera up, I snatched another good-sized crappie out of the lake, and I wanted to show it to you. I threw in the live well for just a second so that we could grab it and show you what another one of these crappie looked like. Look at that big daddy. That is the white crappie. Bars down the side. Just another big one. That one will go probably not quite as big as the last one I caught, but close to 2 pounds, something like that. If we were keeping them today, that would make a good slab, but we're not. I want to mention a couple of things. Gillom Lake is one in a chain of 4 lakes in this same area, and they're all very similar. Even though it's only 1,370 acres, it fishes a lot bigger than that. As we can show you, it's got arms just stretching off everywhere, and there's all kinds of ravines and ditches and feeder creeks, and of course the main river channel that snakes its way up the lake. And if you want to book a guide trip and come catch some of these big crappie like we're catching, Dustin Holmes stays on top of these fish year-round. He's got a great guide service. He can put you on the fish. He follows their patterns, their migrations, and it doesn't matter what time of the year. If you want to catch big crappie in Arkansas, Dustin Holmes is your man. And there's the contact information at the bottom of your screen. We're having a great day, even though the weather is really gnarly today. We had another little cold front push through, the winds out of the north. As you can see, it's just socked in fog. It rains quite a bit off and on. Got all the cold weather gear on. You would not know that it's headed into springtime here.
The fishing action is really starting to heat up along the coastal south, including some big tuna and wahoo being caught. I'll be right back with more details on this great fishing, but first this from our good friends at Miralure. Miralure, building quality saltwater lures since 1937, including the new line of Miradine plugs. Turn on the bite anytime, tie on a Miralure. Well, it seems early in the season, but big yellowfin tuna have shown up off the Mississippi coast. The fish are far offshore, and the anglers have really got to pick their days. The weather can be real iffy this time of year, especially from the wind. But if you get a weather forecast for 2-3 nice days, go for it. They're far offshore, 70, 80, 90 miles at times. Also well offshore, the Georgia coast, some big wahoo are being caught 50 to 70 miles out. Not a lot of anglers are fishing for wahoo in that southeast Georgia area, but again, if you pick your days, there's some great wahoo fishing there. Also in Georgia, sheepshead are being caught on the reefs closer to shore, 6 to 12 miles out, primarily with fiddler crabs on that southeast Georgia coast. In Savannah, Captain Jack McGowan tells me that there's some big trout being caught. There was a 30-inch spotted sea trout caught off Tybee Island. I don't have a weight in that fish, but a 30-inch trout could be 7, 8, 10 pounds or more. So there's some big trout being caught along that Georgia coast now, and it's only going to get better. Well, that's a report this week from the coast. Get out in the water and take a youngster with you when you go.
Watch our latest episode or catch up on past episodes on our website at letsfishtv.com. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter for new fishing videos every day. And download the free Waypoint TV app to get all the latest episodes every week on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Lose. Feel the difference. Waypoint Customs. Customize your boat your way. Strike King. Tie one on. Glacier Glove. Stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades. Fishing Specialties. Makers of the premier mount assembly for live sonar.
So glad you're back with us. It's time for the Ask the Pro question. This week, Kenny would like to know, what is the funniest thing that you've ever seen on a boat ramp? For an answer, we asked the funniest guy in fishing, Gerald Swindle.
The funniest thing I've ever seen on a boat ramp, I seen somebody back a brand new Tahoe all the way down in the water and headlights were still on. When I got there to put in, all you could see was the light sticking out. And I couldn't stand it, and I looked at him, I go, "You gonna leave it there?" There's nothing you can do. I'm like, "Yeah, it's gone." When you pull up and the headlights are past the pier, you're like, "This ain't good." And the dude's just standing there like.
Thanks so much, Gerald. If you have a question for one of the pros, just visit our website, click on the Ask the Pro link, and send it in. Now let's check out the latest Big Catch of the Week winner.
We are back at the boat ramp, and it's time right now for this week's winner in the Big Catch of the Week contest. He's Paul Agnelli of Gulfport, Mississippi, showing a 54-pound redfish he caught at Long Beach Marina in the Mississippi Sound. If you'd like to be our next winner, go to our website at Let's Fish TV and go to the bottom of the homepage, click on the Big Catch of the Week area and follow the instructions to send us the details and your photo.
Here's today's Right Stuff, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
On the Academy Right Stuff, it's the right gear to go catch bass and crappie like you saw us catching on this week's episode. I want to mention one brand new rod that I'm fishing with for the very first time, and it's perfect for catching these bass. It's the Lew's TP1X Speed Stick. Now, it comes in all kinds of actions and weights, and this is the multi-purpose spinning rod. It's perfect for fishing the soft plastics like we caught the bass on this week, but they make lots of others as well, and you can check out the full line of Lew's TP1X Speed Sticks at the Lew's website at lews.com. Also, there are a couple of baits that I want to show you that we used. The one on the top is the Strike King Scissor Shad. It's got some little swimming legs on it. It's a real bright color for the stained water. It's got a real subtle action for these slow bass in deep water like you saw us catching this week. And then the one below that is the Strike King Wally Marshall Lightning Shad. Again, it's a little small, subtle, soft plastic bait. It's in the electric chicken color, which is chartreuse and pink with a pink head, 1/8 ounce size, and that was perfect for fishing these deep water crappie. When I was a teenager, my brother and I mowed lawns for money. We wanted to buy stuff, and so we needed to figure out how to make some money. I'll never forget the thrill when we would knock on someone's door and they would say yes to our lawn mowing service. Well, that same principle works the same way today. Lots of folks have been through a really hard time over the last year or so, and many have lost their jobs and their income. There are two opposite ends of the spectrum on the reaction to that. One is to sit at home and feel sorry for yourself, but the other is to get out there, innovate, take some risks, get out of your comfort zone, and maybe figure out a new way to earn some money. And to those who are willing to accept and take on that risk, they just might get that same thrill that we got as teenagers when someone says yes. I hope you enjoyed our trip to Gillom Lake in western Arkansas this week. And if you'd like to make your very own trip here and you need a guide, contact my buddy Dustin Holmes. He guides on all 4 of the lakes here in western Arkansas. They're all very similar, and they've all got big old crappie and good-sized bass like you saw us catch on this week's show. You can contact him at the information you see on your screen. From western Arkansas, I'm Barry Stokes saying, let's fish, everybody. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.